ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. Last lesson was part 3 of lesson 1. So we completed lesson 1 of this book, alhamdulillah. All that's left is to do the final piece of homework. And this is what we're going to begin this lesson with. The first sentence, and this is a reading and writing exercise, says ما هذا. ما هذا. Then هذا قلم. ما هذا. هذا قلم. Number 2 says هذا كلب. This is a dog. Number 3 says من هذا. Who is this? The answer is هذا طبيب. This is a doctor. Number 4 says هذا جمل. This is a camel. Number 5 says أهذا كلب. Is this a dog? The answer is لا. هذا قط. This is a cat. Number 6 says أهذا ديك. Is this a rooster? The answer is نعم. Yes, this is a rooster. Number 7 is أهذا حصان. The answer is لا. هذا حمار. Number 8 هذا من ديل. Number 9 أهذا ولد. Is this a boy? نعم. Yes. Number 10 من هذا. Who is this? هذا رجل. This is a man. So this was the homework from last lesson. Before we begin today's class, I'd like to summarize the main topics that we covered in lesson 1. The first main point that the author wanted to teach us in lesson 1 was this. هذا. هذا means this. And هذا is an اسم الإشارة. اسم الإشارة. اسم الإشارة is a demonstrative pronoun. هذا means this. Use it to point out objects. If you want to use هذا to point out an object, the object that you're pointing out has to be مفرد. مفرد. It has to be مذكر. It has to be قريب. It has to be مفرد, which means singular. It has to be مذكر, which means masculine. It has to be قريب, which means close. So if the object fulfills these 3 conditions, you can say هذا. Tamam. So this was point number 1. The other thing which we learnt in lesson 1 is how to ask questions. and we learnt how to ask questions using 3 tools: ma, man, and hamza. This hamza. These 3 things are what we use to ask questions that we've learnt in lesson 1. Ma is used to ask about things which are non-intellectual beings. Ma means what is this, and so on. So non-intellectual, we say غير عاقل. غير عاقل means non-intellectual, a non-intellectual being, something which has no intellect. Man means who, and this is used for the opposite of this. So if this is غير عاقل, non-intellectual, this is used for عاقل, something or a being which has intellect. لعاقل. تمام. Man is used for عاقل, ma is used for غير عاقل, non-intellectual being, intellectual beings. Hamza turns a statement into a question. So this is the 2 main concepts that we should have taken with us from lesson 1, and everything that we learn, we need to make sure that we build onto it. We'll build on top of it and not forget it, because this is a basis upon which we're going to build more concepts, inshallah. طيب, let's begin today's class. الدرس الثاني. الدرس الثاني. The lesson, the second. الدرس, the lesson. الثاني, the second. We read it together, we say الدرس الثاني. الدرس الثاني, the second lesson. So this is the second lesson. The first lesson was الدرس الأول. This is الدرس الثاني, the second lesson. In the second lesson, the main point which the author wants us to learn is this noun here. It says ذلك. ذلك, which means that. This is another ismul ishara. This is another demonstrative pronoun, something that we use to point something out. ذلك is similar to هذا in that they are both ismul ishara. Let's say it 5 times. ذلك. 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 ذلك means that. This is an ismul ishara. In order for us to use ذلك, just like هذا, there are conditions. So let's write those conditions here. So for us to use ذلك, the object that we're pointing out must fulfill 3 conditions. The first 2 conditions are going to be exactly the same as هذا. It has to be mufrad. The object that we're pointing out has to be singular. Secondly, the object that we're pointing out has to be masculine. مذكر. It has to be singular, it has to be masculine. This is where the difference lies here. With هذا we said it has to be close, قريب. But with ذلك, the object has to be بعيد. بعيد. بعيد, which means far. So 3 conditions. The object has to be singular, it has to be masculine, and it has to be far away. If these 3 conditions are met, then you can point to that object using ذلك. You can say ذلك رجل. That is a man if it's far away. Tamam. Okay. The other thing is, there is a special spelling rule just like هذا. We said with هذا, it is read like this. هذا is read like this. هذا. The ha is stretched 2 counts. It's read like this. However, it's written like this. We omit this alif. After the ha, it's not written. It's only read but not written. And the same with ذلك. ذلك, we read the dhal 2 counts. So we're actually reading it like this. ذلك. We read it like this, but we write it like this. So there's an alif here which is pronounced but not written. So this is the second spelling rule that we've learnt. Usually in Arabic you write whatever you pronounce. Everything that you pronounce is written. However, there are some special rules with certain words where the letter is pronounced, however, it's not written. And the opposite is also true. Sometimes a letter might be written, but it's not read. For example, the waw here. This waw here in ulaika, just for an example, ulaika. We have example of two things. We have a letter, this letter here, which is written, but it's not read. You don't read it. You just go ula, ula. You don't say ul. And we have a letter which is not written but read. There's an alif here. I've just represented with a small alif. Ulaika. So this stuff, letters which are written but not read, or read but not written, these are studied in a subject which is called al-imla. Imla'un. It has its own subject where you study this. Imla'un. The subject of imla. This is where you study this rule. So in Medina Book 1 so far, we've learned 2 spelling rules. These 2 spelling rules are studied in this subject in more detail. The first is هذا, the alif is pronounced but not written. And ذلك, the alif after the dal, is pronounced but not written also. So 2 spelling rules that we have to bear in mind. And you find many people who have not studied, they write ذلك like this, and some of them write هذا like this, because this is how it's pronounced, so they think that this is how it's written, which is a mistake that we need to bear in mind and be careful not to fall into that mistake. Okay, so this is our main point that we need to focus on in this lesson, الدرس الثاني. ذلك means that, and it's used to point at things which are far away. Yeah, the opposite of هذا. هذا for things which are close, ذلك for things which are far. Okay, ما means what? We're asking about something which is non-intellectual. غير عاقل. غير عاقل, non-intellectual things or beings, like animals and objects and so on. ما ذلك. ما ذلك means what is that? ما ذلك means what is that? He's talking about a star. It's far away. And this star, as we mentioned, its gender is that it is mudhakkar. It's masculine. We said everything has a gender in the Arabic language. Whether it's a living thing or a non-living thing, they have genders. So ما ذلك, what is that? The answer, ذلك نجم. ذلك نجم. That is a star. So the words that we've already covered, we're not going to repeat them. We're just going to carry on reading. هذا مسجد. This is a masjid. So we're assuming that the masjid is close and the house is far away. هذا مسجد. This is a masjid. وذلك بيت. وذلك بيت. So this wow is not part of ذلك. So this is one of the things which helps us when we study Arabic language. We have words which are written together. It's actually 2 separate words. We have the wow, which is separate, means and ذلك, which means that. وذلك. So ذلك is a separate word, wow is a separate word. وذلك, and that is a house. وذلك بيت. هذا مسجد وذلك بيت. This is a masjid and that is a house. Next one. هذا حصان وذلك حمار. هذا حصان وذلك حمار. This is a horse and that is a donkey. This is a horse and that is a donkey. I'd like to give you guys a benefit. A crossbreed between a horse and a donkey gives us a mule in English. In Arabic, a mule, this is a new word that we should also learn. We say bagh. Baghlun. Baghlun is a mule. A mule. Okay, let's say this 5 times. Baghlun. 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 Baghl is a mule. Okay, we try and pick up as many words as we can, inshallah. So a crossbreed between a hisan and a himar gives us baghlun. The next word, So next sentence. أذلك كلب? Is that a dog? لا ذلك قط. That is a cat. أذلك كلب؟ لا ذلك قط. No, that is a cat. Next one. ما ذلك? What is that? ذلك سرير. That is a bed. Next page. من هذا ومن ذلك? Who is this and who is that? من هذا ومن ذلك? Who is this and who is that? هذا مدرس وذلك إمام. This is a teacher and that is an imam. So imam means leader. Imam is a leader. It could be leader of the Muslims as presidential leader or leader in prayer. Any sort of leader is referred to as imamun. This is a new word, so let's say it 5 times. Imamun, 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 imamun. Imam is a leader. هذا مدرس وذلك إمام. مدرس, there's I think a more common word for this which we're going to learn now. Another word which means mudarris, teacher, which I think is more common, is muallimun. Muallimun, teacher, a teacher. Muallimun, 5 times. Muallimun, 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 muallimun. This is a teacher. Another word for mudarrisun. طيب, let's continue. So هذا مدرس, this is a teacher, and that is an imam. So one's closer than the other. ما ذلك? What is that? ذلك حجر. That is a rock. Rock. Hajar means rock. So let's say this new word 5 times. حجر, 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 حجر. That is a rock. So this is a new word. Next sentence. هذا سكر وذلك لبن. هذا سكر. New word. سكر means sugar. سكر, sugar. سكر, sugar. لبن is milk. Milk. So we have هذا سكر and we have وذلك لبن. That is milk. This is sugar and that is milk. This is a new word, so let's say it 5 times. Sugar. سكر, 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 سكر. And this is the new word, milk. لبن, 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 لبن. You find that with laban, this is usually used for the thick yogurty milk. The thick milk, yogurt, they use this word, laban. But the normal milk, they use this word instead. Halibun. Halibun. Halibun is the normal milk. Halibun. 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 Halibun is the normal milk. And labanun, they usually use that for the yogurt type of milk. Labanun and halibun. Okay, so this is today's class. If you've understood today's class, then we should be able to do the homework. Tamreen, exercise. Iqra waktub, read and write. And we have 4 questions. So this is going to be the homework for next lesson, inshallah. As well as memorizing the words and understanding the main concept of today's class, which was dhalika. Dhalika means that, and it's a ismul ishara, demonstrative pronoun, which is used for masculine, singular objects which are far away. This is the main thing. So this is something that goes without saying, that you need to understand the concept of what's being taught in the new lesson, memorize the new words, and then do the homework. This is something which will test your understanding in terms of reading and writing. So these 4 questions. Al-kalimat al-jadida. Al-kalimat means words. Al-kalimat, this is the plural of kalimatun. If you remember in lesson 1, we said in the Arabic language, words are divided into 3. Ismun, fi'lun, harfun. We said kalimatun, a word, is either ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. Al-kalimat, or kalimatun, kalimatun. Let me write it down here. Kalimatun, the word kalimatun. This is the plural of kalimatun. Kalimatun is the plural of kalimatun. A word, words. Words. Okay, so this al that's attached at the beginning means the. So the words. Al-jadida, the new. Al-jadida, jadida means new. And this is a description of something which is feminine. Jadid means new. Jadida, we're describing something feminine to be new. Al-kalimatul jadidatu. Al-kalimatul jadidatu. The new words. Imamun is a leader. The one who leads people in prayer, or the one who leads a country, and so on. Hajarun. Hajarun is a rock. Sukkarun, sugar. Labanun, milk. طيب, this is our lesson for today. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.